Haliburton could have a 50-point triple-double tonight. Who knows?
Hey, Krispy Kreme donuts, we glaze.
Who knows?
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Think RBA Podcast, where real ballers adjust. First and foremost, sir, I want to start out. We've been on the road to 250 for a while now. I want to shout out all of our new subscribers. Finally hit the goal. We now are going to be flying in potentially to 500. So thank y'all for subscribing. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, ring the bell, get alerted for all the new content we got coming at you. As always, I'm Ken, my man Hak. Hak, tell us what we're reacting to this week.
Bro, the two most beautiful words in sports are what?
Game 7.
Game 7, man. Game 7. We're going to react to Game 7. Blockbuster deal today. So we're recording this before Game 7 happens, right? Deal today came out, KD, the KD trade.
Like hours ago.
And all I'm thinking is another one. We'll talk a little bit about that, and we'll talk about another blockbuster. My God, bro. Billies is what you say? Billies, the Lakers, iconic team, iconic franchise, Paseo. I thought you were gonna jump in, but we'll talk a little bit about that. So I think that's enough. That in itself is enough to talk about.
It's an all basketball episode today.
Yes, sir. But sir, let's start off. Two most beautiful words in sports, Game 7. Sir, what are your thoughts just in general for Game 7?
I was on record and have been on record saying that I honestly did not care who won. Mm-hmm. All I wanted was some Game 7s.
That's right.
I wanted Game 7s in the conference.
Correct.
I didn't get it. But Game 7, I was like, if there's one thing, God, please give me a Game 7.
God heard your prayers.
Thursday night was beautiful.
God heard your prayers, brother. Man, Game 7, this is it. And also, this is cha-ching for the NBA.
Well, of course. Of course. No, I love, 7 points. 7 points is all that separates OKC and Indy through 6 games. Mm-hmm. So we cannot have a closer finals than I think that I'm sure there might be some fact checkers that can look it up, but I can't remember one that feels as close as it did. Even with a couple of not blowouts, but some, we have some small, but again, Indy had theirs, OKC's had theirs, but then everything else, 7-point differential. In this series. So, it feels like tonight is literally anybody's game. Now, of course, OKC has the home court advantage, but does that really matter in the NBA as much anymore?
I think it matters to a certain degree, but if you're that type of player, you kind of thrive off of it. So it doesn't matter where I play, where you play. It's time to get to work, right? Get down to business. So I'm with you, man. Game 7 is like the ultimate high of sports, right? That final, anybody can take it. And this is that's the part that really amazes me, is that this is that one time. So the last time I remember something like this, what you mentioned was how close this was. My mind immediately went to the 2016 finals. The Cavs and the Warriors Game 7, that could have gone either way. So this is what this feels like to me. Just not with as much star power, but it feels similar-ish. Despite all the other narratives that have come out, just with the storylines and a lot of hate, a lot of glaze on the flip side, there's a lot of things going on here. Is it okay we talk about some of that stuff?
Well, so what I was going to say was, it's, obviously it's Game 7. We're all hyped, right? I want to watch them play to 9, play to 12.
Oh my God, bro.
Best of 9, best of 12, whatever. I don't care at this point. Let them just keep going through the whole offseason. But, OKC does have the home court advantage and possibly, might have the home whistle as well.
But Scott Foster's not there.
So Scott Foster is not there. He was originally, I guess, everybody expected him to be chosen because I saw something that said he was...
Is it the ultimate fixer?
I don't know. But I saw something that said, he was going to be reffing. And obviously, the last game, I think it was Game 4. And that was the game that OKC, took care of business. And even Rick Carlisle, the Pacers coach, came out and was like, no, it wasn't Scott. It wasn't Scott.
Right.
But there was a lot of online hatred that it was Scott. But saying that to say, regardless of the refs, because it doesn't seem to matter who the refs are, the home cooking for a particular MVP and his ability to draw fouls, that some are legit and some are questionable and others are phantom. So that is the one thing that's probably the most concerning about the Game 7. I just don't, and I know we're going to get into the narratives, but like, I just don't want it to get ruined by a bunch of bad calls.
Sure.
That's where I'm at.
I mean, listen, I'm on record saying this from way, way, way back, is that the NBA is a business. It is not an organization that thrives on being fair, quote unquote. They're a business. They're here to entertain. Entertainment doesn't mean fair. I'm not saying that what's happening is not fair. What I'm saying is they have to look out for a product. They have to grow.
But before you get into that, can you say what when you mean by fair? Like, what? Give context for what you're saying. Fair in terms of
Lakers versus Kings. Fair. Was that fair to get elbowed in the jaw by Kobe Bryant?
But what's the context for this? It's Shea, right? That's what.
No, it's anything.
Okay.
Whatever side you side with, and however you feel, understand that the game is officiated, ran as it's a business. It's not a fair play. Whether it's a script writing, whether it's wrestling, whether it's football, whatever it is. If it's an entertainment business, there is no fairness in it to the level that you may believe it should be.
So then does that not diminish the Game 7?
It diminishes every sport, but we don't treat it like that. We treat it like it's supposed to be fair. That's why we get emotional and have these huge debates about who's this and who's that and what should have happened, could have happened, would have happened. But what happens is later, oh, we're sorry, we messed up. You get an apology maybe, but it doesn't reverse the call. It doesn't reverse the outcome of the result of a game, and life moves on. And then we have feelings, and then we talk about how the refs are undefeated, right? That jersey's undefeated. So that should also be taken with a grain of salt, right? All right, we get it's a game. We would like for it to be fairly officiated. However, how many of us have actually had the opportunity to get on an NBA floor and officiate these professionals and really know what we're looking at and how we should be looking at it? That's the other side of it. So there's a human element to it, right? Crowds. I think a ref is one of the most, it's a very difficult job. It's an extremely difficult job. You're being yelled at by the fans, by the coaches, by the players, by everybody. You're the most hated person in the stadium. Is that not true? We've seen this. We've seen even in the youth level, I've seen parents yelling at the refs, kids yelling at the refs, coaches yelling at the refs. It's a tough position to be in, but that doesn't mean obviously you got to do your job with integrity. But the NBA is an entertainment business. That's the part we got to understand. Now, the narratives, those are driven by the media.
Before you go forward,
sure.
I'm really disappointed in you.
Sure.
Disappointed in the non-RBA stance
sure.
that you just took.
Which is?
Quick question to see yes or no. NBA referee, is that a profession?
Of course it is.
Are they expected to do their job?
Yes.
So all of that other stuff that you mentioned does not matter.
Who do they work for?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it doesn't matter.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the crowd, you're hated and and everybody. None of that matters. You especially if you are good enough to get assigned to Game 7 of the NBA Finals. That means that's cream of the crop. Super Bowl, NFL refs, cream of the crop. They get graded all season, right? You get the best of the best for that particular game. For the NBA Finals, you get different crews. You get the best of the best. You're a professional. You go out there and do it. All that other extracurricular, non-RBA stuff that you just mentioned doesn't matter.
So let me ask you a question.
At the end of the day, when Shea comes down there and throws an elbow and extends his arm out, they call an offensive foul.
So let me ask you a question.
End of story.
Question is, why remove Scott Foster? He's the best in the league. He's their number one go-to guy.
That's not necessarily.
He's pretty much the top guy.
He's one of, but I mean, I can't answer to Adam why.
Okay, so when Haliburton double dribbles and they don't call it, and then hits a three, where's the call there? There was no call there. So we can go both ways with this.
At the end of the day, the crew that was selected was selected for Game 7 of the NBA Finals.
Sure.
And go out there.
The refs is just an element, right? I'm talking about it as an entertainment business. Let's set the foundation of our expectations that we have. Any sport you watch, it's entertainment. There's money involved. There's money involved. There's going to be corruption. It's the nature of the industry, of anything in life. That's what it is. Now, as far as this game is concerned, all the narratives, these are media driven. A lot of this is media driven. So a lot of sports is media driven.
That I agree with.
Right. And this is a sport, highest stage ever. They need you to click. They need you to tune in, whatever that may be. Yes, the Pacers and OKC are not very high market teams. So how do we drive that narrative by these little stories, these little takes, and then exacerbate it and say, oh, look at this. And now that there's this, I'm glad you brought this up, this whole Shea hate and Tyrese Glaze that's happening. I'm watching this shift. All these Glazers, I'm gonna call them Glazies. All y'all Glazies and the haters on the other side.
Pause.
And now I'm seeing like all these different social media clips, all these takes, how this dude pushes off and how this dude this and the other guy, he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, blah, 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 blah. We forget that they've been playing this way since the beginning of the season. Where was all this talk, all this recognition, all this noticing, oh, wait a minute. There's plenty of highlights before they got to this stage where now this hate is suddenly coming, or this glazing is suddenly showing up. They've been playing like this. This has been their game. But the casual just wants to, I want to follow the trend because they're sheep. Sheep follow, whereas the ones who are ready to go against that, oh wait, I've noticed this already. I'm in it, I've watched this. Watching the game is not enough. You got to go out and play it. You got to feel that moment. You got to know what it feels like. Yes, now game 7 is different, but playing the game, understanding angles and this and that, whatever it is, if you got to know that to talk about it. I can't just sit on my couch and not play and understand, oh yeah, that's how no, it does. You don't know what it feels like. You have no idea what it feels like.
Well, I mean, we don't know what it feels like. Play.
I know what it feels like to go play at least and know what a shot feels like, how with the release, that's the part.
There's plenty of media people that play too.
No, they played.
Or play, but they
might
play in their old man leagues.
Correct. You have to play to understand. Even doesn't have to be at a high level. But we're talking about these push-offs and this and that. And suddenly like the other guy can only go right. He can't go left, right? Shea's not the only player to do this. If you don't know the history of the game, I suggest you go back and watch it. Dwayne Wade, the ultimate foul baiter. Go back and watch some Dwayne Wade highlights and watch how this dude was. I've never seen a guy shoot a ball and go sideways. That was Dwayne Wade. He'd wait to see. He's pump fake. Oh, he's jumping this way. I'm going to jump this way and shoot. Since when did that happen? James Harden. There's a whole era about the James Harden triple step back or the swipe through he would do to draw a foul. What happened to that? We all forget. This is not new. Paul George does it. He drives to the lane, shoulders you, gets you back, right? So all these casuals who want to talk, who don't play, y'all just keep yapping because this reminds me of a bunch of sheep. Keep talking. So I know you lately I've been watching you on this glazy. You're another glazy. I'm hearing about yes
shots.
Because all I get from you lately I've been getting is Shea hate shorts.
I mean, and then I
ask you the question is I would like for you to bring some more history to it, not just this one little angle that you want to show me. Whereas what's happening? So here's another thing. Not yet. So I was listening to some Hall of Famers talk about this. Listen to Hall of Fame. These are Hall of Famers. Y'all favorite players. Y'all favorite players talking about how this whole glazing that's happening, they're not on board with it. So y'all need to stop following the sheep and make your own informed assessments. Stop listening to the crowd and make your own assessment is the point. And I got receipts. Of your favorite players, the Hall of Famers again, talking about how, this Halle Glaze, he ain't all that. Not yet. And even if he wins, he's still not all that. These are your favorite Hall of Famers. The people your favorite players respect, talking about it. So y'all really need to tone it down a little bit and give respect where respect's due. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has one of the deepest, most skilled bags this game has ever seen. And y'all need to learn to respect because half of the stuff he can't do, some of y'all favorite players can't even do as far as how skilled this man is. And we talk about a push-off. Let's talk about all the plays that happen before he gets to the point of a push-off, all the fouling that happens before he even gets to his shot. So yeah, he's only countering the fouling that's happening to him. So y'all really need to calm down. And that tells me how little people know or play the game to really understand what the game is really like when you actually get out on the floor.
Is it my turn?
Sure.
Can I raise my hand?
Absolutely.
Okay. First off, there is no Shea hate. There's no hate. No hate. We're not talking about history because we're talking about right now. Guess what? I didn't like Dwayne Wade either. I hated when he did that shit. Guess what? I wasn't a fan of James Harden. I hated when he did that shit. And guess what? When I see Shea go down and put out his arm, I hate that shit too. And I hate the fact that throughout history, the referees, historically, on average, don't call that shit. Okay? So history gone, right? I don't need the history lesson. You can
it's not for you.
I know, I'm just saying, but so you talking about my Shea hate though. We talk about me now. So I give you your time. It's my time. It's my time now. I reclaim my time. So what I'm saying is this, okay? The one thing that we've seen throughout this NBA Finals, just this NBA Finals, okay, is it seems like the league and the refs, as a point of emphasis, have allowed teams to play tough defense.
Sure.
Very tough defense. Sure. More so than we've seen.
Well, they should. It's the finals.
More so than we've seen historically. This is one of the rare times where I think we've seen this like resurgence of really, really tough defense. What the problem is when the same way that, they might be grabbing the shade, whatever, the same things happen on the other side. Caruso and Dort and all these guys, great defenders, but they're all up there getting handsy. They're all getting up there, pushed. They're all hand fighting. And that's fine if it's called across the board. Right? To me, as long as it's called across the board, I'm good. But when you start to watch these clips, and yes, they may have been playing like this all season, but guess what? Most people are not, especially with the Pacers, are not watching Indiana versus Toronto on February 10th. Like, nobody watching that, right? I'm just making up a random date. Even OKC, even though they had more TV time, but let's be real, the average fans, are they checking for OKC? Not like that. So why it's such an emphasis now is the stage. The stage brings the emphasis to it, to where it's a wider audience. Same way that a lot of people don't watch football, right? Same way that I will sit down and watch 7 hours of commercial-free football every Sunday. A lot of people don't do that. But a lot of people don't even watch any football at all, but they'll tune in to watch the Super Bowl. And then it's like, oh my gosh, what is happening? Because they haven't seen how this team plays all season. Sure. So you got a lot of newer viewers that maybe didn't watch. Because again, the NBA is such a long season. We've talked about this before. It's such a long season. Unless you're a hardcore fan, you're not tuning in. Let's be real. You're not tuning in for 82 games. Sure. Right? You may have League Pass. Even the most like dedicated fan, you might have League Pass, you might check here and there, whatever. Unless you're hardcore, you're not watching all 82 games of your team, much less all the other teams. 82 games times 30 teams, it's a shit ton of game, right? So yes, it's magnified right now because of the moment that we're in. Sure. And so my thing is, I just don't, especially now that like, okay, we're basically even, right? Game 7-point differential between the two teams. Let's just call a good game tonight. That's all I want them to do, is call a good game tonight, because there's too many examples, too many clips, just in this finals alone, right? Where you can see OKC, Caruso, and them being physical, this and that, and they come down and Shea's like, but a foul.
Okay, so Haliburton comes down, double dribbles, and no call, same thing, right?
I mean, no, but those should be called too. I mean, I'm saying it should be called both ways, but he doesn't double dribble every play.
And that was my question.
No, hold on, sorry. He's not double dribbling to the extent that Shea is doing that drive. No way.
Shea's also getting fouled to get to that point where he has to do
not
that
all the time.
Plenty of times. Especially when you're the star player, you're getting all that smoke anyway. My question is this though, just to manage like from a realistic standpoint, have you ever watched a Super Bowl or a finals where one would say, or every fan would say, that this was officiated fair? The answer to that is a big no, hell no. Why? Because we side with our teams or our opinions, and everyone has their own judgment and perspective of a call. What may seem like the biggest thing now, is this a trial or not? That's a
we can have that is a whole nother episode,
right? So like that's a whole 3 episodes, like with that concept in itself. That's a gathered dribble or not.
So, but I hear you. But what I'm saying, bro, like when you come down and you're not touched and you just flop, like you just flail your arms, like that shit. It's not the borderline ones. I'm cool with the borderline ones where they're a little handsy. Like that's fine. But there's been too many examples of other ones where he's not even touched, bro, and he just like throws that's what I used to hate about Wade. How can you run full speed into somebody and then like you obviously 2 bodies hit and then you just go poof like this? and you get a whistle. Like, it's just, that's not.
So I completely agree with you, right?
That's not
that part of what he's doing, the little extra acting.
Yes.
Because as Shaq would say, NBA is nothing but actors.
There was one where he pulled back, no contact at all, no contact. He pulled back and he actually kicked. I forget who the Pacers player was. He actually kicked the Pacers player, but they called a foul and Shea went to the line.
So I agree, right? Those should be called fairly. Absolutely. If you're violating the rules, yes, they should be called fairly.
That was
but
not
it's happening on both ways. Sure, one specific franchise player is doing it a little more and getting. Michael Jordan had his own rules. He had his own rules. There is there's people talking about it. The refs, former refs, that Michael Jordan had his own rules. LeBron has his own rules. Kobe had his own rules.
Shea's not.
He's not that yet, right? All these they all have their own set of rules. When you enter the era of the superstardom, when we talked about superstardom last episode, when you start entering that arena of your career,
you get phantom
the rules
calls.
changes. The rules change for you.
You get phantom calls. You can kick
that's
somebody.
The rules change. The way Dwayne Wade, you just talked about it. James Harden. The rules change.
I can't get down with that.
I can't either. I don't like it. But it's a business. That's where the unfair part comes out of it. Tom Brady. There's some parts of it, right?
mean,
the Tuck rule and all that. Like there's very questionable.
I think it can still be a business, and you can still make new stars without having to give a whistle to somebody.
It works both ways, right? And at that point, it's what's better for business? What's good for business? I get it, bro. I agree in a fair call. Yes, a fair game. I'm all about it. But where there's money, millions and billions of dollars involved, like it's never gonna be fair. Even organizations don't play fair with money on the line.
But then if you are him, right? Like, do you want that non-RBA call just because it gets you to the line? Like, it's cheap.
Ask that question to James. Ask that question to James. And Dwayne.
I don't,
and Jordan.
But they're not in the moment right now. I don't care about that.
But that's what I'm saying.
I didn't like them either, except for Jordan. But
it's what I'm saying. It's been happening. It's still happening, and it's going to happen.
Well, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now, and I won't like it.
And I'm with you 100%. I'm with you.
But you play
by the rules that you can play with.
I'm sorry, but when somebody comes down the lane, like you put your shoulder to get a little contact, that's fine, right? Sure. We're good. But when you extend the extension piece, like come on, like.
But then let's watch the play all the way through to see how many times he got fouled to get to that point where he has to do it.
But they're doing the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's what's the end result. Both teams are fouling the shit out of each other every play.
But are they?
They are. Yes.
Okay, then just call it. I would say call it.
I've watched some clips of Caruso playing defense.
What I'll say is call it even, right? Just like you're saying, call it even.
Right.
But again, business.
Yeah. Wow.
It's business. That's the other element of it. But on the flip side, I want to give a shout out. A huge shout out, much respect to the term role players and this one player who's embodied the shit out of it.
Can we save that till the end?
Sure.
Yeah. Sure, let's save it to the end because that might pop up in our RBA.
All right, cool.
Is it the one that we talked about?
Yeah.
I want to save that.
Okay, you want to save that? Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So,
sneak peek.
So let's scale a little bit back, and I want to. So, but even then, I want to give a shout out to some other role players like Pacers. There's somebody like Obi Toppin.
Who their whole bench came out.
Like Nemhard, like Neesmith. Like these dudes are like wow. With much respect to this squad, even the OKC squad, like their second man, like like you said, Caruso, Dort, like these. Yep. This finals to me has been probably one of the most, like I would say, quote unquote balanced finals. Whereas there's so many X factors. We always talk about X factor every year, right? There's always like one or two guys, but this has been like we're going into the bench for deep for X factors, and that's been a big change for me.
So can I flip the script on the whole Game 7 conversation?
Sure.
One of the things that I love the most about this Game 7 is that we've got two young, deep teams,
right,
coming into a moment that virtually none of them have been into. I don't think Caruso's been in, but
I have to go back. Pascal Siakam is probably
probably the only one who has any real but as a group, collectively, like who is going to step up in a moment, who is going to build a pressure, who's not. Like this tonight is where we get to see who and how they deal with pressure, because none of them know what this moment is going to be like.
I mean, other than Siakam, who can help prepare, right, give that info,
right,
he's the only one. I mean, that's why he's the best player on that team, But even that, I mean, they were down KD. They were that series with the Warriors was a lot different than this. Correct.
This is a fucking battle right now.
It is a battle.
And so I'm just like, I also love it too, because it's not like, oh, okay, well, you've got LeBron or you've got Kobe, you got Wade, you've got guys who have been there and we're used to seeing them there. It's like, and we know how they're gonna handle the moment. Right now, we have no idea. Shea could have the duddiest dud of a game that he's had all season.
Yeah. Kobe did.
Haliburton could have a 50-point triple-double tonight. Who knows?
Hey, Krispy Kreme donuts, we glaze.
Who knows?
We have no idea how they're going to handle the moment. And that is the one thing, like, out of everything, because I know we're talking a lot of the negative shit, but, like, that's the one thing that I love the most and I'm most excited to sit down and watch tonight is, like, how these young kids, they're kids.
Yeah, rise to the occasion.
Hustle, man.
For sure.
Like, how these kids handle the moment tonight. Because that just gets me, bro. I'm so like, I'm getting goosebumps, bro.
No, for real. Like that's a great point, right? And that reminds me of Kobe, Game 7 against the Celtics when he had the worst game of his career, or like finals career. It was terrible. He shot garbage, but they still came out with the victory because what ended up happening, he adjusted and he got his teammates involved because he knew my shot was pretty much in the trash right now.
Yep.
And they RBA'd it. That was the ultimate RBA.
Ultimate.
So we're gonna find out who's gonna RBA tonight.
Bro, I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's. Whew. I'm excited, just like you, man. It's gonna be. I think I don't want this game to be a blowout for any team, right?
No.
I want it to be like an overtime, right? Neck and neck, bro. Double overtime, like
double overtime down to the last shot.
Wow, like that'd be amazing. But please, let it not be free throws. Yeah. Shot, please.
Let's not even get into the bad free throw shooting.
Correct.
That's a whole nother episode too.
Correct.
Woo.
Correct. So what we're asking for tonight from the basketball gods is what? A fair game, quote unquote fair game.
Overtime.
Double
overtime gets tricky because
sure.
You get.
I don't want to be greedy.
Let's
not be greedy.
We don't want them to get in foul trouble. I don't want guys off the floor.
That's a good point.
Right. So maybe one overtime and nobody fouls out.
No injuries, no fouls. A fair game, quote unquote. Scott Foster not there, so you might have that. And what else are we asking for? Is that it? And a neck and neck, right? Like really.
I know what I'm personally asking for, but I'm gonna leave that for next week.
Okay.
As a reflection.
Okay. So that's all we can ask for. Well, at least for the moment right now.
Yeah.
And I really hope it's a game that we remember historically and that we go back and refer to as a game that like, yo, go watch that finals, that Game 7. I don't want it to be one of those like, it was Game 7. Who cares?
Yeah, right.
So can we move on to another blockbuster news, man? Blew up today just a few hours ago. Kevin Durant, KD.
H-Town.
Bro, this guy was sitting in an interview on stage. I think Fanatics, but I think Taylor Rooks was interviewing him. And this guy got the news right there on the spot. He got traded, and bro, the smile on this man's face was like he couldn't even hide it. Normally he stays cool about things, but this man had the biggest grin ear to ear on his face, and I was like, damn, you really wanted to leave, didn't you? So some of the details of the trade, right? Let me got it up here for you. So Rockets receive Kevin Durant. The end. Period. Suns receive Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, 2025 number 10 pick, so first round. Number 10 pick. So next year. Oh no, this year, the draft. And 5 second-round picks.
The throw-in.
Well, unless some hidden gem comes out of it, like a Gilbert Arenas, like one of those.
It's like a 0.000001%
but it can still happen, right? Or the Draymond Greens. Like you never know. So why, bro? Why?
I just had to do it for fun.
So one, what do you think? Is that a fair deal? Does somebody come out a winner or loser? Is Kevin Durant at this stage in his career worth that type of trade?
So one trade that we didn't talk about recently was Desmond Bane.
Yes.
Getting traded. And I believe, and I don't have it up in front of me, but I believe it was for like 4 first-round picks. So number one, are you telling me that KD is not worth at least 4 first-round picks? And 2, are you saying that Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks are the equivalent of 4 first-round picks? Or 3, because they did get 1. They got the 10th pick this year. So I'm sorry. So 3. They're not the equivalent of 3? I mean, I would say I could see you make the case that Jalen Green, young star, drafted young, a lot of hype, still has a lot of potential, a high ceiling. Let's say he's 2. Is Dylan Brooks really first round pick? Or is he a guy you put in to match salary? I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying. So saying that to say, actually, I think Phoenix got a great deal. And the fact that they only had to give up one first round pick and they still got a young star to continue to try to build their team around. So they got Phoenix. They got Booker, Jalen Green. Oh my God, Bradley Beal, right? And Dylan Brooks. So now they can still retool, right? Free agency, etc., and have a decent squad. I mean, they got a core group there to ball. So Phoenix, I thought, got a really good deal out of it. I'm surprised that there was not more first round picks. But on the flip side, if you're a Houston team that was the second seed and looking to move up, I mean, you have to figure Lakers are probably going to be better next year. Nuggets, we still don't know what's going to happen with the new coach. You know, will he continue on with that or not? But if you want to stay in that range but also compete, I mean, this is a hell of a move to go try to hit a home run, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I actually like the deal for both teams. Definitely, we kind of heard some of the, rumblings out there about, the things not working out in Phoenix. I'm sure that's why he was cheesing from ear to ear and knowing that he was out of that situation. You put him in with Fred VanVleet and Jabari Smith and Easton and Sengun. I mean, they've got a squad. You add KD to that too. That's tough. Obviously, he's an upgrade over Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks, but the question is how long? Because obviously KD's on the downside of his career. I'm not going to say he's old, but he's on the downside. He's what, 17 years in?
Yeah, he's on the ladder.
We know what happens after year 20. So this is a short window for Houston, right? And the question will be, will they capitalize?
Okay, good point. So real quick on the Desmond Bane, basically Memphis got Kentavious Caldwell, Cole Anthony, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 first round picks between 2025 to 2030. Wow.
See?
And all they got was Desmond Bane. That's wow. And on the Houston side, on the Phoenix got a few more, but this has been the one first round pick for 2025, and between 2025 and 2030, 2032, bunch of second round picks. So, which is,
maybe you package a couple of those seconds to come up to the top of the, the high end of the first. But even that, like when you're at the high end of the first, are you really drafting a star? Maybe you get a good role player. I mean, but seeing those packages,
you're
basically
valuing Desmond Bane as more valuable or more of value than KD.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I'm just surprised that Phoenix didn't get a few more first round picks out of it.
I'm not, because Phoenix is doing Phoenix things. Right.
There's that too.
So it's pretty on par.
But they should still have a decent team, though. Jalen Green is nice.
Of course he is.
And that's the thing. So it's like, and maybe that's why they weren't as they didn't want to part with the picks. But like, you're kind of mortgaging a little of your future, right?
Right.
Because he was like supposed to be the guy that you build around. Right? That hasn't quite worked out completely, but he has so much more potential. So he could become and develop into that guy in Phoenix.
100%.
And then you got Booker next to you, and you got Beal, right? Who quiet, but still's a killer.
Yes.
Right? So, you still gotta have a squad.
And that's the thing, right? Jalen Green's still raw right now. I feel like he's still learning his identity, like what type of true player is he? And I think being around more proper veterans is going to help him identify that and fit into that role. And I think this is a good situation for him, because that Houston team is really young. They don't really have, like, other than Fred VanVleet, like that's...
And Dylan Brooks.
So other than Fred VanVleet, like a true veteran, like, that's going to really teach you the ropes. Whereas now, being on Book and Beal and guys at that superstar level, because Fred VanVleet's not really at that superstar level, right? He's not identified as that.
Oh, he got paid like it.
He sure did, but when we say superstar, that's not the name that immediately comes to your mind.
Come on, man, don't hate on FVV.
No, I love FVV. His story is incredible. So on the flip side with KD, here's my question to you: if Houston doesn't excel or succeed the way they're trying to hit a home run right now, basically, if they don't hit that grand slam, they don't really make it. They're again, it's that same Kevin Durant story. I went to the Nets and I went to wherever I go, it's the same. Other than the Warriors, it's the same story. and it's a repeat. What do we take away from it? Is it KD or is it the organization?
Wow.
Almost like a loaded question.
I want no smoke with KD.
Sure.
KD want no smoke with him.
Sorry, he'll Twitter you. He'll X you.
No, he won't. No, he's got way better things to do than to X me. But it can't just, it's not just KD.
Okay.
Right? It's not. Like, he's too generational for it to be him.
Okay.
It's just not. But like, there's just sometimes you're in situations, right? Like, I've dealt with people and I've dealt with them from a distance. And I've seen them have issues with people. And then somebody else would come in and then they'd have issue with that person. And someone else come in, they have issue with that person. And then I got a chance to come in and it was like, they still got issues with me. And then at a certain point, you do have to take some reflection and be like, what am I contributing to this or not contributing to this? Right? You know what I mean? But saying that to say, I would say that's much smaller than just overall, right? If you think about the situations he went into, the Nets, they were not a good team. It's not even where he really wanted to go. He wanted to go to the Knicks. He went with Kyrie. And then what happened, right?
They got James and Blake and LaMarcus.
But did they have a strong ownership group? Did it like
Steve Nash coaching?
Which again, was that a good decision?
I'm just saying.
I mean, we're not going to get debate that.
I just listed off like 4 All-Star.
Steve Nash, who never coached before.
Right. It was Jason Kidd.
Remember that first season? What did Kyrie say? Oh, we don't even really need a coach. That's how things started off. You know it's going south, right? Like, and I actually like Kyrie now.
No, he said no.
I didn't like. No, I didn't before, but I actually like Kyrie now. But yeah, like that's it's going to go south. Right. But apparently this Phoenix situation was not, not good. And you bring in a guy like Beal and he's hurt most of the time. And that's like, you struggle. And then sometimes you get into situations where like you don't have the strongest leadership, coaching, whatever, the personality conflicts. And, some places are going to be better than others. So I would say if we had to put percentages on it, I would say it's probably about 25% KD and 75% other external factors.
Wow, bro.
I don't want any smoke with you, KD. It was not about you.
Wow, bro.
But I'm the type of person I always like even if it was 25% me, like I'm still gonna reflect back, like, okay, like, man, maybe there's some things I could have done differently. But at the end of the day, like if I'm fucking KD, like I'm the generation. I'm the top 75 player. Like it cannot just be me.
I don't know about that, but okay. So KD might get some smoke from KD, right?
I'm just gonna sit back and drink my water.
Bro, generational player for sure, right? I think he's one of the best to ever do it. One of the greatest to pick up a basketball and hoop, right? Dude's unbelievable. Correct, as a Howard comma, as a talent, right? USA team, like got them all, whatever. Much respect. But as the franchise player, that's the part where I got disappointed with you though, is that you can't throw the onus on the ownership and every other external factor when you are the primary main go-to franchise guy who's gonna get all the rewards and all the punishment regard of your outcome. It's just the way the nature of sports is. There are external factors, but does anybody care? No. What they care about is you, the guy, you're carrying this ship. Right? You're the captain. Can you get it done? The end. It's about you. All the stuff that comes out afterwards is hearsay. It's just later. But in that moment, the whole thing about him, the way he left the OKC team, right? The way he left them and then went to the competitor. We all know about that, and we talk about it. There's this whole thing about Dirk's 1 ring is greater than KD's 2 rings and all that. There's a whole conversation about that. I know he doesn't care. But you went on another team. You joined up with these. I literally rattled off 5 All-Star potential Hall of Famers. You're on a squad with them and you still failed. Then you went to your next team with 3 potential Hall of Famers, right? Or 2 other potential Hall of Famers, and you couldn't even make the playoffs. And then you have Ant Edwards knocking you out first round. And now you're on this new team. So like, it's almost like because you ran from that first situation to go chase a ring with a 73 and freaking, was it 9 team the first time? Like you never learned how to overcome adversity by staying with the squad and saying, no, I'm going to beat them. I'm not going to go join the enemy. I'm going to destroy the enemy. And that's what we also teach our kids when we coach and train them, that stop jumping ship and face your adversity, learn how to overcome it. And that's the part I feel like he never truly figured out because he didn't stick around long enough. Or Kobe, right? He went through a lot of rough season with that Lakers squad before they won, after Shaq left. And that's the part I feel like where he missed out on building that skill set or that mentality that, nah, we gonna do this. Like, we gonna destroy this we're gonna beat this Warriors team. We running it back next year. Instead of saying, yo, I'm gonna go join. Like that I think is where, to me, my one knock on him, right? Like otherwise, like, and then you take that same thing and go to these different teams, and because you never learned how to do it the first time, you kind of take that same thing and it's like wash and rinse. Wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. So with Houston, I'm gonna be honest, like, I'm not expecting much. I'm not expecting much out of that team. They may make a first, second round, whatever, but I'm not expecting them to go contend for no chip, especially being in the West. I don't see it happening. That's me. So we got all the smoke right now.
Well, he's got the smoke. I don't, because but I was looking for a particular quote that I had seen. I can't remember where I saw it, but where he was talking about, somebody was trying to say about him and his and what he was or wasn't doing, and he started like listing off all the things. He's like, life is good right now.
Sure.
I was looking for that quote, but I couldn't find it. But in the midst of doing that, through his Twitter feed with the replies, I did find somebody who was talking about how he left Golden State, the same thing about the ring culture, everything. And then somebody said he was trying to dodge accountability. And he said how I, all caps, helped the team. I never said we won a game solely because of me, but I do remember losing games and voicing that I could have did more to help us win, but you're not paying attention to every post-game press conference. It's a lot to do that. It's obvious we view team sports differently.
Sure.
So he is taking accountability.
I don't know about that. Taking accountability with your words and your actions are two different things. So no, that's cute, Katie. It's cute.
That's
no, thank you.
Look, he said it, not me.
No, thank you.
Not me.
No, thank you. All right. So
25% KD.
75% KD, 25% everything else.
Wow.
Next. Talk about the Lakers, the Bus family, bro. You know how we talk about the Brinks truck and bringing one back? I think we may need to bring the whole bank off. This is a bunch of Brinks trucks backing up. So let me go through real quick. So this is a
ridiculous amount of money,
bro.
Jeez.
This is 40 after 46 years, right? 46 years. After 46 years, 11 championships later, the Bus said, "All right, it's enough." Right? It's time.
The Bus fam.
The Bus fam. Correct. They said it's enough. We're gonna sell our majority stake, and they're selling it to, this is the rich get richer. Dodgers owner. The LA Dodgers owner, who I believe Magic Johnson's also a part owner in. Mark Walter, bro, $10 billion. That's how you do it.
$1 billion.
$1 billion. Billies.
Can I just say,
it's the richest, it's the biggest deal ever, right?
Of course.
The biggest.
Can I just say that just hearing that amount of money that somebody can put together to spend on a sports franchise, and I get it, Lakers are a lucrative sports franchise, but that's just, that amount of money just pisses me. It just really does. It just it really makes me mad. That's crazy. And so I don't know what else you got to say. I only have one question about this whole thing and where we're headed with this. So I'm gonna let you cook until I can circle back to my question.
I mean, no, my question to you was because the Lakers are sold, right? The Celtics sold last year. These iconic franchises are selling. So there's a shift now, right? A passing of the torch, I guess you could say, with perhaps fresh young blood, a new mentality. Do you see a change coming, I guess, up in the upcoming future with how these organizations may? I know it's a we have to win or nothing. I get it, but with the way the game is changing, do you see a shift forthcoming where these teams are going to change the way business is done in the NBA, considering how big these organizations are, how impactful they are to a team, to the NBA itself?
I'm gonna say no, because I think the NBA culture is already ingrained, and so when you're a new owner coming in, very few are going to have the resolve, the fortitude to challenge that.
So not everyone's Mark Cuban.
Even that, I mean, he still did it to a point, right? It's not like he went and did anything real crazy. But he challenged some things and made it better, with the food in the locker room and things that he had talked about before. But like, in terms of like changing things drastically, I don't think so, because I think that the culture is the culture is the culture.
Okay.
That I think it's ingrained, to really overhaul that would take something more significant. It would take like a wholesale change across the board.
Okay.
My opinion.
All right. Interesting.
But my question is more so, as part of this deal, the Buss family is still retaining their about 15% or so for a period of time. And Jeannie Buss still going to be involved for a period of time, for several years. To me, and maybe it's just the details haven't come out, the vagueness of that, it was alarming to me. Because what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. What is a couple of years? What if after a year the owner's like, yep, now we're good. We don't need you as the chairman or VP or whatever position you are. Like, now we good. We're gonna buy you out of that 15%, whatever. I mean, what does that mean? I don't know.
I mean, that's again, they would know better than us what that really means. We can only speculate. To me, what that means is I still get courtside tickets. I still get free entry in here. I ain't got to pay nothing. I get the VIP treatment. That's what that means to me. I still have access to this.
That's fine, but do you have an influence in decision?
We'll hear you out. Your experience, right? You have experience. We want to learn that. But once we've kind of got, we got to handle things. Serve as an advisor.
Your services are no longer needed. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, to me, it was just an awkward part of the article, right? It's like, yeah, they're going to just kind of hang around for a couple of years.
Again, that's we'll find out, I guess, what that really means in a couple of years. But
because I would expect it to be, something more like, okay, they're gonna be for 3 more seasons, and then there's gonna be a clear-cut, defined thing, and it's like, no, we gonna so keep you till your services are no longer needed.
So I think the other part of that vagueness is, so a lot of players, right? They have relationships with the owner, right? And they move teams based on their relationships with these owners, and if her sudden abrupt exit may impact player mentality, player dedication, commitment, whatever it is, right? Potential contracts coming, renegotiations coming up. So maybe that's why, to smooth things, right? To have a smooth transition, that could be why that statement is there. I don't know. I'm speculating again. So there could be a lot of factors, right? We can go a lot of different ways with this, but I'm curious, like yourself, to find out what the details of that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm curious to, where, like, how that will change the culture of the Lakers.
Sure.
And how that will that be? Is this, is this going to be at some point within a season LeBron's exit, and then now it becomes Luka's team under the new owner and
like
whatever. Like, who knows? Yeah. But it's, like you said, it's all speculative. So be interesting to see. But 10 Billy still pisses me off.
Bro, like, wow.
I just get
a tenth of
Billy.
it.
Like, I don't even need a lot. Like, I mean,
so the rich get richer, and with that, sir,
we stay poor.
And let me hand it over to you. We got the RBA aura. We're gonna circle back.
So obviously, the disclaimer again that we're recording this before Game 7. So we're referring back to what happened a couple of days ago, but just in terms of an RBA aura, where we talk about real ballers adjust and either overcoming adversity and or stepping into a moment, or one of the things that we've talked about in the past, and we've talked when we coach youth, is starring in your role, right? So, Pacers down 3-2 coming into Thursday night, critical game at home, Haliburton hurt. You could visually see him limping around the court. Thank goodness that the game worked out the way that it did, because he played like 23 minutes. He got some rest. He was able to get some rest because everybody across the board stepped up. But there was one particular guy who just, like, he went crazy. And I actually texted you, like, Tage got to watch him, because, like, talk about starring in your role. He was doing everything. TJ McConnell, bro. Like, and he didn't have crazy stats, but he came in, he high energy, intensity, aggressiveness. He was getting in. He didn't need to push off, but he still would hit his little bunny in the paint, right? Even over guys that are bigger than him, stronger than him, right? He would get in there because he just make his moves. He was fighting for boards. He was getting steals. He was playing aggressive defense, diving for loose ball. Like, he just brought it to the point they started a TJ chant in the arena. Because he just was doing every little thing that you tell, and I've seen all over Instagram, everything when coaches tell players, like, it's not just all scoring, it's how you do the little things, and those things will get you on the floor. And he took advantage of this moment on the biggest stage, and for the Pacers at that point on Thursday was the biggest game of everybody's life on Thursday night. And he came in there and he balled out. So I just wanted to give him a shout. That was truly RBA. Talk about the pressure of the moment, stepping up, as the backup point guard when your star point guard is limited and basically running around on one leg trying to play, and being able to help facilitate things in a way to where not only you get to win, force a game 7, your star point guard gets to rest a little bit more to prepare for that, and you get your own TJ chant. What? That was RBA.
That was, bro, I think that was beyond RBA. Like how again, TJ McConnell has always played like this. Right. This is not new, but again, the stage, right? It was the win or go home situation. The dude stepped up. So he talks about it on the podcast. He talks about how he figured out that because I'm not the most physically gifted athlete, I'm 6'1", average build. What I figured out was if I can work the hardest, in the sense that I play total, like everything on the floor type of basketball, I will have, and I play my role. I don't look to score. I don't look to do flashy stuff. I just go do the impactful stuff. This is why I feel there was actually, I think it was Pat Bev who put out an IG message or a tweet or whatever, talking about how if the Pacers win, McConnell should be in the running for MVP. Because that's how impactful he is. This is why the guy he's backing up is not even the third best player on his team, because he's not impactful. Besides game 1, the impact isn't there. TJ McConnell is a more impactful player than that guy, because the glaze is real. Y'all glazies be way too much. I feel like if I go to Krispy Kreme, it's gonna be the Hallie glazed donut that y'all be like consuming here. Y'all really gotta slow down with that. But TJ McConnell, like, dude, he is film study worthy for every basketball player, whether you are the man on your team or you are at the end of the bench on your team. That is the guy you gotta watch. It's not about scoring. It's about the stuff that doesn't go in the stat sheet. And we talk about it all the time, but he literally put that on display at the biggest stage. So like, I'm gonna have people like my boys, we're gonna do a film study on TJ McConnell. Something, I think a sentence that was never probably said like a year ago or 6 months ago. Y'all gonna sit down and watch a TJ McConnell film session. How you play the damn game of basketball. So man, much respect, RBA. Truly deserving of the RBA.
You said you had a quick one?
I had a real quick one. It's like more of a cute one. Okay. Right? We ran a clinic today. We had a bunch of kids, like a bunch of youth kids. We had a little second grader there, right? He's amongst like this 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders. But he out there doing his thing, like he working hard. We had a little moment where he broke down.
In the heat.
Bro, 95. Yeah, my guy on that what was it, the crab thing?
The
lobster. And this dude had like in the 95-degree heat, wearing all black. Bro, dude out there working, trying to keep up with the older kids. And the way he fought, the way he clawed, the way he came back, he went out for a second, he gathered himself, came back on the court, and we did a bunch of hill work, we did basketball, and the way he came back, the energy that he came back with, like, it was lively. He wasn't down. He didn't come back as like a bah humbug. He came back as like, all right, let's go. I'm smiling, and that to me was infectious. It was contagious, and that's the kind of guy I want on my bench. That's the kind of kid I want on my bench, whether he's the first starter or he's a last guy on the bench, because his energy is always going to be positive, right? He's going to take the squad and keep them, right? We talk about chin up. He's a chin up guy, right? And that's why he got the MVP award for us, because of the way he handled that situation as the youngest kid there, or the second youngest kid there, right? Because my youngest was there. But much respect to him. Jacob, much props to you, much respect to you. Truly deserving of the RBA MVP.
Most definitely. And so as we wrap up this episode, biggest thing I will be hoping for tonight is a Hallie 50-point triple-double.
He glazing like a mother.
And with that, we appreciate y'all for tuning in to the Think RBA podcast. Until next week,
Deuces.
We'll see you.
Peace.